Ghana's real estate market is often described as booming, but there's one major problem that's keeping investors hesitant, making property prices unpredictable, and leaving home buyers and tenants vulnerable. That problem is transparency. So what does transparency in real estate mean? And why does Ghana rank so low compared to the global market? Real estate transparency is about how easy it is to get reliable property market information, how well regulated transactions are, and how protected buyers and investors and renters in a given country. There's a recent report by JLL which provides a real estate transparency index ranking 89 countries on a scale from high transparency to opaque when it comes to the respective real estate market. In this annual transparency index study, JLL defines transparency in real estate by the availability of market data, regulatory frameworks, transaction processes, sustainability measures, and governance mechanisms. And according to this transparency index, Ghana ranked 73rd out of a possible 89 countries, the 89th country being Iraq. Now, this is not a unique problem to Ghana as an African country. 13 out of the bottom 20 nations are African nations. The likes of Algeria, Tunisia, Angola, Uganda, Ivory Coast, Senegal, and Ethiopia all rank lower than Ghana. The rankings group countries from high transparency to opaque. Ghana ranks in low transparency, but is only one place away from being opaque. But despite the attraction of real estate in Ghana, Ghana falls behind Kenya, Nigeria, and even Rwanda in terms of its transparency score. In the report, JLL explains, progress has stalled across sub-Saharan Africa, with legal and regulatory challenges, lack of urban infrastructure planning, and governance issues holding back improvements in transparency. Why is this important? Well, the evidence shows that the more transparent a market is, the more investment it attracts. Top countries like the UK, US, and France are attracting over 80% of global real estate investment, which is $1.2 trillion because of their high transparency. Meanwhile, markets with lower transparency like Ghana face higher risks and investor hesitancy. And I think we've seen a lot of stories around that kind of narrative. Ghana's low transparency deters serious foreign and institutional investment. Data availability remains one of the weakest areas in emerging markets, creating unpredictability for buyers and investors. I experienced this pain point myself, and this is why I set up Kuro Africa, to provide increased transparency using technology to understand market pricing, which is a key component of this transparency index. A transparent real estate sector contributes to national economic growth by attracting stable investments. Transparent markets have better liquidity, lower risks, and stronger financial resilience in economic downturns. Now, Ghana's key transparency challenges and why they rank so low. Ghana lacks a centralized pricing database, which makes valuation consistent. Currently, that's where Kuro comes into play. For example, a house in East Legon could be listed for 200,000, while similar one in Cantonments could be priced at 150 without a transparent valuation model. This is where we're trying to improve things with Kuro. Now, interesting comparison and a normal comparison for Ghanaian economy and economic issues is Singapore. Singapore has entered the highly transparent group in 2024, supported by higher sustainability standards and a focus on integrating technology, digital services through its real estate industry transformation map. Singapore is the country where they often compare with Ghana because we had the same economic positioning, very similar at the time of our independence, which is around the same time. We can see where Singapore is and where Ghana is in relation to that. In general, in Ghana, there's poor regulatory oversight and weak governance. We hear countless examples of land commission issues. I hear examples of even the Lands Commission being taken to court. Ghana's land registry system is inefficient. It can lead to title fraud, lengthy court disputes, and the court system itself is inefficient. Now, part of the problem is Ghana's lagging on the digitization aspect. There has been mention of digitizing land registry from this and previous governments, but the implementation is yet to be seen. Once that happens, we'll definitely have a better and fairer real estate market in which people can invest in with confidence and attract more investment. Another factor is challenges in digitization and AI adoption. We at Kuro are leveraging AI technology to drive valuation models, occupancy likelihood, market trends, and we're first of a kind in Ghana and in West Africa to do so. So how could Ghana improve? Ghana should introduce mandatory disclosure of property sales and ownership details, and that should be publicly available because that will then enable normalizing of pricing and accurate pricing. For example, in Kenya, they've introduced a real estate regulation bill which enhances oversight on transactions. Another solution is around AI and tech integration. That's what we're interested in and do at Kuro. So digitizing land records and property transactions and enabling API connections to service providers. And there needs to be collaboration between the private sector and governments. The latest NDC manifesto does make mention of digitizing the land registry system, improving titling processes, and creating a central digitized land database. However, that's been mentioned before by previous governments. Let's see how that actually transpires. There's also mention of public-private partnerships for real estate technology companies. So I'm going to be exploring that as a real estate prop tech entrepreneur myself. In conclusion, transparency is one of the main drivers of efficient and highly profitable real estate markets and the attraction of foreign direct investment. There's a lot of capital outside that is interested in Ghana, but the lack of transparency holds that capital back from actually investing. Hopefully in the near future, private organizations like my own, Kuro Africa, along with governments, can come together to build solutions to enable better transparency and attract more investment from individuals and organizations. That's it for now. You can try Kuro Africa right now to see how we help invest, drive additional value, avoid common pitfalls, and negotiate better deals. Until next time, thank you very much. Stay safe, stay informed.